Modern tents fail for one simple reason. They were built for comfort, not survival. They rip in the wind, leak in the rain, and melt near an open fire. When temperatures drop, they become cold traps wrapped in plastic, your own breath condensing on the walls and dripping back onto you. But during World War II, soldiers didn't have the luxury of lightweight gear. They didn't camp for fun, they camped to stay alive. To do that, they built shelters that modern tents still can't compete with. Shelters made from waxed canvas, trench walls, and a design so rugged it protected men through storms, artillery blasts, and some of the harshest terrain on Earth. Ask any soldier, bushcrafter, or explorer today, and they'll tell you, modern tents are weak. Their nylon fabric shrinks when cold and sags when hot, shredding when the wind hits at just the wrong angle. The plastic fibers stretch, and once overstretched, they never recover. In a weekend camping trip, waking up in a puddle of condensation is uncomfortable. In a war zone, it's deadly. World War II soldiers learned fast that a failed shelter wasn't an inconvenience, it was a threat. So they used something tougher, heavier, and fire-resistant. They used a material born from centuries of hard-earned survival, waxed canvas. Its history began on the high seas, where 15th century sailors treated flat fails with fish oils to make them catch the wind instead of water. This technology evolved, and by the war, it was perfected. The pup tent became the unsung hero of field life. The system was simple. 2 soldiers each carried one half. Alone, each piece was just a tarp. But together, they formed a shelter that could withstand storms modern tents would never survive. The genius wasn't the shape, it was the material. Heavy cotton canvas impregnated with wax formed a barrier that modern synthetics can't replicate. As rain fell, the canvas fibers would swell and expand, tightening the weave and making the shelter even more waterproof. Wind didn't slice it. Embers from a fire didn't melt it. This wasn't just a tent, it was a shield forged from necessity. But the real brilliance came when soldiers combined this canvas with the earth itself. They dug shallow trenches, lined them with their shelter halves, and threw branches, poles, or ammunition crates across the top, covering everything with dirt. The result was a shelter that was earth-insulated, bomb-resistant, and completely invisible from above. Modern tents protect you from rain.
These shelters protected men from war. The soil absorbed blast waves, while the canvas stopped the water. Together, they formed one of the most effective low-tech shelters ever built, with no zippers to jam or poles to snap in the wind, just soil, wood, and a fabric that refused to fail. Today's survivalists have rediscovered what those soldiers learned the hard way. Sometimes old gear beats new gear. Canvas shelters don't flap violently in storms. Because the fabric breathes, they don't become solar ovens in the summer or trap damp cold in the winter. You can safely have a small wood stove or fire nearby without the fear of it melting into toxic goo. For preppers, campers, and off-grid homesteaders, these shelters provide something modern tents never can: trust. When everything around you fails, your shelter shouldn't. Modern tents promise convenience, but convenience isn't survival. World War II soldiers had no margin for error, and their shelters reflect that truth. Waxed canvas, earth walls, and simple, rugged designs represent old knowledge forged in the hardest conditions imaginable. Perhaps the real lesson is that technology gets cheaper and gear gets lighter, but the solutions that truly last are the ones built by necessity, not by marketing.